Hi, for today's question, so I'm sharing two basic ideas which we have felt very effective, and both of them were an outcome of our retrospective. So the first is uh, peer review. So what we do is it's a plain and simple peer review. Whenever a developer codes something, or even a tester is about to test something, when that particular task is done, we try and pick a person from the team who has no association with that particular piece of work. So what essentially we are doing is a person who has no bias would come and review the piece of work, and the intention is twofold. The first is the reviewer would sit with the reviewee and do the complete review and share all the points and checklist kind of an item that should be verified and validated across, uh, and all the points are thoroughly explained why they are being tested or they are being asked. And the second intention is the knowledge perspective. So because both the reviewer and the reviewee are sitting together, the reviewee is also gaining the knowledge that what all things should be looked at in future when he is or she is acting as a reviewer, and the intention of why we are going in that direction and checking all that stuff. The second is creating a self-evaluation sheet for training. So what we have done is we have prepared a very simple basic template for training, wherein in the first column we have added all the topics, the concepts, which span across the technologies, the functionalities, even process as well. So all that is added. And in the second column we have added the location. So location can be to a webinar, to a recording, or to a document, or maybe a combination of these. And in the next subsequent columns we have each dedicated column for one of the team members, to all of the team members. So intentionally what we are doing is we are building a database of all the trainings that a person should go through, along with the repository where that particular training module is saved or stored on the SharePoint, on wherever it is. Now what we do is whenever let's say we kick off this activity in once in a quarter, what we do is we roll out this sheet as a blank sheet, and we ask everyone to do an evaluation on their own. No one else would judge them in the team what they know or what they don't know. So they themselves have to judge and mark that that particular component, that particular training has been done or not. If not, though, they would they would just go to that location of the training. They would go through the training, maybe a session or just a document, and come back to this document, mark it as done, and move on to the next item. This whole process is done within a time box, let's say a week or two, and we complete this whole activity at the end of the week. At the end of the whole duration, this whole activity, we expect that each team member has marked as done against all the rows for all the training modules. Essentially what we are doing is we are ensuring that each team member gets enough time to review the sheet. That's first point. The second is, if let's say today they mark it as done, but tomorrow, while let's say following a process, they forget what should be done in fifth step or sixth step, they know that the location is saved in this Excel. They can come back to this spreadsheet, they can just click it, go through the document again, maybe raise a ticket or raise for an access, and that's how easier we have done for them. So they don't have to remember the process. They can just come back to this sheet and refer it as per the latest steps. The second thing is we keep this sheet always up to date. So if a particular process has been outdated, we remove it, we replace it with a new process. If a particular document link is missing, we review that as well, and then we put up the correct link for that. If let's say the process, a few steps between the process has changed, we review that again, and we try and put the latest information in there. So this particular repository acts as a reference as well for all the team members, be it a new or an experience, and it has proven to be a very helpful one for our team. So that's it.
Hi all, Good evening. This week's question is, can you tell a process improvement initiative that you as a Scrum Master have implemented in the past, and what is the impact that it has caused with the team or with the project? To start with, irrespective of the methodology or the framework, whatever we are practicing in our team, process plays a vital role and to keep the team sustainable and to have a healthy environment. Before I start giving example, I would like to share the concept of shu-ari. This keyword is originated from the Japanese martial art. It says art aikido. So to start with, what shu-ari means, whenever we are learning or whenever we are getting trained in something, we actually pass through these three states, that is shu, a, ri. What shu refers to is we repeat the forms and discipline ourselves so that our bodies observe the forms that our forebears have created. We will be remaining faithful to the forms with no deviation. So it is like exactly following the rules set. As a Scrum Master and as a team, we will have set up the goal or vision, and as a Scrum Master, we will be facilitating the events and helping the team to achieve to the stable state, and also help team in predicting the velocity or guiding them towards the improvement. And what the next state, that is ha, says is, once we have disciplined ourselves to acquire the forms and movements, we make innovations. So in this process, the forms may be broken and discarded. So what Jeff Sutherland have stated is, the team can get the software done at the end of the sprint, and as a product good product owner with the backlog ready at the beginning of the sprint, and as the clear data so that it will show us doubling the productivity and as a strong management support. And in the last state, where what re says is, it is like completely departing from the forms, like opening the door to create the to the creative technique and arrive in a place where we act in accordance with what our heart and mind desires. What I means is, now after we have started understanding and following the rules and tweaking a little bit to see how like innovative technique. So now it is like we try to be the rule. So if I have to share the example is couple of things. What team were doing is, they will be working on day-to-day basis on any particular task, but they will not be tracking their progress in any tool. So even though we have Jira, due to some time conflicts or some reasons, they might not update the comment section, or they will not move that like more, they will not track that workflow status. Even if they have completed the task, the task either still be in progress, and it will not be moved to peer review or anything. So what I did is, as a Scrum Master, I requested the team to update the Jira task on daily basis, either before the end of the day or before they join the next day's DSM call. So this has helped to create a kind of transparency, and it was giving a clarity that what is completed or what is that team facing any challenges or anything. So this is one thing what they started, and in which transparency was tracked. So second thing is, we know, like during our sprint review, there will be couple of feedbacks which we might if we are not making note of that, we might miss it, and like that. So initial days I used to make note of it and I used to share it, but to avoid dependency on me, what I started is, after even before our review starts, like sprint review start, we had this peer review completed, so that there should not be any sudden surprises with the final review. And even if there is any feedback passed, so team should be as like we know development team is a core team, and they should have that habit of making notes and also um, implement in the upcoming sprint whatever changes they have requested based on the feedback. And the other process initiative what I think what I followed is, so as a scrum master in the initial project I didn't have the complete access to GitHub or other tools. So for my reference I initially started tracking merge request, but I later on made and encouraged the team to update all the details of the sprint activity, like the whatever merge request raised or anything. I myself also updated risk register and also any sprint activities, what is that capacity of that particular sprint, and also what is that targeted stories whatever we have committed and what is that we have delivered. All these things I used to update in document Confluence. And how this has helped is, in my absence, if at all I am on any leave, any team member could help the management or leadership team when with any details that they are requesting for. So what I would like to say convey here is, if at all we have to change the some thing, so we need to first follow that rule. So directly we cannot break the rule. So I would suggest first follow the rule, then we can tweak the process according to the convenience of the team's improvement. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. So, the question for this week is, have you done any process improvements in your team as a Scrum Master, and what is the impact that you have seen on the team and the project? So, yes, being a Scrum Master, I have done a few process improvements into my team. And the first one that I would like to talk about is that I implemented definitions in my Scrum team. The project I was aligned to in that Scrum team was a beginner team. It was in the forming phase, and when I joined the team as a Scrum Master, it was just 6 months into the project, so there were no definitions that were already implemented. So whenever the team started a sprint, they were not following any definitions. They were just picking up the stories basis their understanding of what all can be done, and this is the priority that is done by product owner. But then there were spills happening. There were the planning was not very efficient at times. There was the acceptance criteria was not defined very well. So in that case, we were seeing the team was not very self-organizing. So I plan to implement definitions of ready and definitions of done. So I coach my team and implement definitions of ready and definitions of done. So I coach my team understanding the importance of these definitions and how they can get benefit out of it. So when we implemented these definitions, the team felt a difference very early. Within a sprint or within 2-3 sprints, they realized the importance and benefits of these definitions. With definition of ready, when we implemented as one of the checklist criteria is to have dependencies removed. So this helped the team really understand how to plan the sprint, what are the stories they should be picking up, and if there is any dependency, they should not even plan it for the sprint. So they get that understanding, and with the help of definitions of done, now they were clear about what is it that needs to be delivered. The scope was much clearer, and they one of the criteria in definitions of done was acceptance criteria has to be met. So the team was vigilant enough to understand what is the acceptance criteria. If it's not mentioned in the team, they were open enough to ask about the clear acceptance criteria from the product owner, so that once they are checking the definition of done, they are ensuring that this is what is expected as a product owner from the story. And this really helped, I think, improving our team in terms of our planning, in terms of our delivery. There were less of spills happening because of dependencies. So this is one thing that this is how it improved my team's performance. They became more mature in their planning and then in their delivery. In terms of project also, since there were less of spills happening, the planning was correct, they were able to meet their commitments, and ultimately when your team is delivering the right, they are getting matured in making their decisions when they are taking the issues in a sprint, it ultimately impacts your project in a positive way. So this was one. Another one that I would like to talk about is estimations. So, like I told you, the team I was supporting is one which is in norming phase, which was in norming phase. So, team, I realized very early that team did not have a very good clarity on relative estimations. They were doing it, they were doing relative estimations using Fibonacci series and planning poker, but then they did not have clarity of why we are doing this relative estimation, not doing it in hours or man days. Why is relative estimation important? Why is relative estimation important? And what are the criteria they should be using when they are estimating? So this is something I realized is not working very good for my team. So I plan to take it. So first I did is I gave a coaching session to the team about what is relative estimation and how it is better than absolute estimation, and why in an agile environment we should be using relative estimation, how it is different from absolute estimation, and what is story points, what is Fibonacci series, and what are the criteria that we should be considering while we are estimating a user story in relative estimation. So it should be, they were looking only at complexity. I told them it could be complexity, effort, and then risk and uncertainty. All those things should be considered when we are defining story points for a user story. So I started with a coaching session. It was kind of a workshop that I had with the team. When they got that clarity and they were doing estimations, then I made it a practice that end of each quarter, whatever stories the team has worked upon, let's just have another workshop. Take all those user stories that the team worked upon during the quarter, take all of them. I used to open. Let's just have another workshop where we are going to open up all the user stories that team has worked upon during the quarter, analyze whatever they estimated for all those user stories, was that correct? If given a chance to estimate those stories again, would they estimate it the same number? Would they estimate it less or more? And in that way, identifying reference user story for each pointer. So every end of every quarter, we have reference stories for each pointer, whether it's 1, 2, 3, 5, or 8. We have reference stories defined. This helped the team in following ways. One, they have a new set of reference stories for each story pointer. As the team matures with each quarter, now they can look upon new reference stories. Also, when a new team member onboards, they can use that workshop to identify what kind of stories the team is working upon, and what is their reference criteria, what is it that they are considering while they are referencing a user story. So this really helped made my team do better estimations going forward. And again, this helps the team in better estimations, and in terms of project also it helped, because now they are able to meet their commitment, because their estimations is nearing to what they their estimations is nearing to what they the time they actually took to deliver that. So their committed versus delivered metric improved a lot. Over that, they had a stable velocity over time also. So in that manner, I would say it helped both my team and the project. I think that's it for now. These were the two major ones that I wanted to talk about in terms of process improvement. Thank you, everyone.
Hello everyone. So today's question is, can you tell us about a process improvement initiative you as a Scrum Master implemented in the past and what impact it had on the team and project? So, to answer today's question, the first initiative that I had implemented in my team is to improve the communication and collaboration. So, what I did was basically when I joined this team, the team members were not so comfortable and they were not interactive during our retrospectives. So, I have started finding out the reasons, like I started finding out the root cause. What is the issue? Why these people are not so comfortable in speaking? I had one-on-one with them. So after finding the root causes, I just come up with one solution. I started implementing this retro. With the some online free tools that are available, for example, Go Retro, Miro, uh, App Runner, etc. So I started doing the retrospective with the online collaboration tool, Go Retro, and then I found like the team members are more comfortable in sharing their feedbacks and ideas. So because some people, some team members hesitate to share their ideas, like what other members will think, what will happen further, so they hesitate in sharing their sharing their thoughts. So in this online tools, what happens, there is an option available, uh, anonymous, like they can share their ideas anonymously, so that the other people will not get who has shared this feedback or idea. So we can discuss that point in our retro as well. And by doing this or implementing such kind of initiative, each and every team member has started at least putting their thoughts. So uh, because to have a great to have a effective retro, it requires you to eliminate boundaries so that the team members can easily share feedbacks and their ideas. The other initiative that I have started was internal code review. So what happens is basically the team members, after doing the development, share their code for the code reviews, but that code review was not internal. They directly share for the external code reviews, and we found like we were getting so many defects and improvement points. So I started internal code reviews so that we can avoid the silly mistakes within our internal code reviews, and it will not found during the external code review. So by starting this internal code review, it benefits like it benefits in so many manners, like ensure consistency in design and implementation, optimizing code for better performance, and team members can also exchange information regarding now learnings, uh, new learnings during code review. Also by doing the by doing the internal code review, it will affect in better quality product, because we are doing two kind of code reviews, one is internal and then the external. So we can achieve a good quality of product, because the defects the defect receiving will be very less if we are doing such kind of things. Thank you.
Hello friends, I'm here with another one wonderful question. So, what are all the process improvement initiative you had in your team and the impact what it is created in your team? Okay, so yes, of course, in my experience, I have implemented a few process improvements, but I would like to share two alone with you at this moment and what the impact I had. Okay, so process improvement, it's nothing but optimizing our process, analyzing them, and optimizing them to improve quality or performance or speed or reliability, whatever it may be, or anything else. Okay, that can make a process more efficient and effective and provide a fruitful solutions or a result. Okay, so that is so-called process improvements. So in my work experience, I implemented a process improvement. In one of our retro meeting, team was continuously saying that we are spending so much of time in meetings. Okay, so I was like all the meetings are really essential. Apart from our Scrum events, team members were stating that a few ad hoc meetings and planned meetings, we are spending almost 4 hours per day. Then only 4 to 5 hours, then only we have to work out of that meeting. So it was like very time consuming and exhausting process. So what the idea we as a team together came up with that is that we used to have some 1.5 hours meeting daily in the name of so-called walkthrough calls. Okay, so here our practice is something little bit different. So that call, all the complete Scrum teams along with the dependent teams, everyone used to participate for that 1.5 hours. Okay, it may extend also sometimes. So this is literally exhausting and draining the team members' timing. What I came, it's not I, in our retro meeting, what we came up as a team in the sense, we have to be ready with the agenda for the next week completely. Okay, so whoever want to discuss on what topic, you have to place the topic in their agenda, and in the meantime approximate time of the discussion and who are all the participants needed for that meeting. So we cancelled this practice we implemented, and we started to update the agenda. In the meantime, parallelly, already scheduled meeting was cancelled. Okay, some key person who really wants to be part of that meeting all the day, like my product owner and few of my designing authorities, they should have the invite. But everyone should have the access for that agenda file. Based on that agenda file, team members should join on the time exactly. Then they have to pitch in and discuss, and they can move out. Okay, but product owner is a key person who always wants to stay in that call. So that one we implemented, and it saved lot of time. If suppose some team member may not needed for this call for the complete week, then his time has got saved, right? It's approximately 7 hours we could have saved for him in the week. So that is something good, so that it improved that team members productivity, and they felt like at least if they are taking some breaks, that is also well and good, and if they can perform twice the amount instead of sitting idly in the meeting and time consuming, and then their productivity will be less. So that we could see the great productivity after initiating this process improvement. This is one thing. And also when we are clear on the agenda and what next. So if, say for instance, if I have today's date and 3 agendas are there, out of the 3 we will prioritize which needs to be addressed in an urgent basis. So that based on the prioritization, the discussion happens and everyone is sticking on their timeline, and the participant list also updated there. These are all the participants should come in that meeting. So by that time we will pull that participant alone for that meeting, and after their meeting they will move out. So this is how we planned. Okay, we are not at all inviting all the team members for that meeting. So this is one process improvement. Another process improvement is a continuous improvement, so called kaizen in the term of in the Japanese word, it's a kaizen. In kaizen we do have 3 kind of improvement. One is muda, mura, muri. Okay, so muda is basefulness. Suppose we will continuously team members work but no values being added, that is so called muda. Mura is unevenness. There is no uneven task or uneven work. Even work, not uneven, even work will be done. So it's like something we will be doing and then we will switch over to something like that. Okay, muri, this means overburden, too much strain on resources, such as some working out machinery or overloaded. This is something called muri. Okay, so what I thought is that sometimes team members felt that I'm overburdened. So we implemented muri logic in our team, stating that if suppose some team members are picking some heavy weighted user story, or which is literally complex and technical challenges are there, after finishing that user story, it's like they should have some light weighted user story, light weighted task, or some kind of peer review. So basically this gave the mindset to the team member, okay, once we are done, we are free, we are out of work, and we will be having some less item to work. So that this is a kind of self-actualization. I have to use this term for sure, because self-actualization is a one thing. We itself appreciate ourselves by realizing our work or the deliverable what we give at the end of something. Okay, so on that appreciation, team members will easily finish the next item, so that they feel very free, and after that item they will have to pick another one heavy item. So this way we align. If one team member is picking some heavy work item at first, They will focus on it. They will have the mindset, oh, okay, if we stretch or if we work productively, not stretching, if we work productively and we are delivering this item, next item is very light and we can enjoy the time period. So that kind of mindset is it, and there is no overburden. So basically their performance has started to improve. They started to deliver effectively the first big task, big challenging task. So this is one kind of technique, process improvement we implemented, and it worked very well for us. Thank you.